Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
We're going to be diving deep into a question that's probably on everyone's mind who's ever tried to build something new in the tech world.
Mm-hmm.
Why do some products just skyrocket?
Yeah.
And others just, they kind of sit there,
Yeah.
not doing much.
Right.
And to help us kind of unpack that, we are turning to a book,
Okay.
literally titled Inspired: How to Create Products Customers Love.
Oh, wow. That's very literal.
It is,
I like it.
by Marty Cagan.
Now, this is someone who's been there and done that right.
Yeah.
Not just an armchair theorist.
No, he's been at Netscape, eBay, big names.
Yeah. The places where innovation happens.
Yeah.
And continues to happen.
Yeah, so he's seen it all.
So he's not just talking the talk, he's walked the walk.
Exactly. And actually, one of the first things he does in the book
Okay.
is he tells this story about a product he worked on at HP
Oh, wow.
that completely flopped,
Really?
even though the team was stacked with, super talented engineers.
Oof. That's gotta sting.
I know, right?
So what happened? What was the lesson there?
Well, it turns out,
Yeah.
and this is kind of a key takeaway right from the start,
Okay.
even brilliant engineers, top of their class,
Uh.
they can't save a product if it's not solving a real problem.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Like if it's not something people actually need or want.
You can be the best engineer in the world,
Right.
but if you're building the wrong thing, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So that HP story was like a wake-up call for him.
Yeah, it was like a total turning point.
Okay.
And it kind of set him on this mission to figure out, okay, what actually makes products succeed?
That's fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what are the ingredients?
The secret sauce.
The secret sauce.
Yeah.
And that leads him to one of the big arguments in the book,
Okay.
which is that behind every, really successful tech product,
Yeah.
there's this strong product manager
Oh, interesting.
kind of driving the ship.
So let's break that down for a second.
Yep.
What exactly do we mean by product manager in this context?
Because it's kind of this unique role, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're at this intersection of technology and business
Mm-hmm.
and user experience.
Right. You got to have all three.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just know how to code
Right.
or to just understand the market. You got to bridge that gap.
Yeah. They need to understand the tech, obviously,
Yeah.
but they also need to understand, why are we building this?
Right. The why,
The why.
the purpose.
Yeah, and how does it actually fit into people's lives?
How does it solve a problem?
Exactly.
How does it make things better for someone?
Yeah,
That's a tall order.
it is.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and then, Kagan goes on to talk about all these companies that are doing this really well.
Oh, yeah. Give us some examples.
Like Netflix, Airbnb,
Okay. Those are big ones.
Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really interesting is that a lot of these products,
Yeah.
they blur the lines between what we think of as online and offline experiences.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Like, think about ride sharing.
Right.
Uber. Or like smart home devices like Sonos.
Totally. Technology is not just on our computers anymore.
No, it's like everywhere.
It's integrated into our lives.
Yeah.
That's a really important point.
So it's like what Kagan is saying is to build a product that people are going to love.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need more than just a cool idea
Right.
and like a bunch of awesome coders.
Yeah. You need someone to translate between the tech itself
Yeah,
and the humans who are actually going to be using it.
exactly. And that's where that product manager
No.
becomes so crucial.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who are like advocating for the user,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that the product actually solves a real problem
Right.
in a way that people actually find valuable.
And engaging.
Yeah.
Not just functional, but delightful.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack here.
This is already getting me thinking.
And one of the things that I found really interesting about the way Kagan structures the book.
Is that he actually focuses on the different stages
Oh, interesting.
of a tech company's growth.
So like startups versus
Yeah.
big established companies.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he talks about startups.
Mhm.
He talks about growth stage companies.
Okay.
And then those massive enterprises.
So he's covering the whole spectrum.
Yeah. And that helps to highlight
I bet.
the unique challenges
Yeah.
and opportunities that come with each stage.
Makes sense. Every stage has its own set of hurdles.
And for example, he talks about how startups,
Yeah.
they're under this immense pressure
Oh, yeah.
to find what he calls product market fit,
Okay.
which is basically like finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where your product is actually meeting
Right.
a real need in the market.
A real problem people are willing to pay for.
Yeah, and can gain traction quickly.
So they're racing against the clock
Totally.
to build something people want before the money runs out.
Exactly.
It's high stakes,
It is.
but also high reward. If you get it right,
Right. The potential is huge,
huge.
but the risk is
Yeah, definitely a lot of pressure.
massive.
But I guess that's part of the excitement of startups.
Yeah.
That agility and that potential for rapid growth.
Right. They can kind of pivot and change direction quickly.
Much more so than a big lumbering corporation.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So even if you're not, thinking about starting your own company,
Yeah,
just understanding this dynamic, I think, is really valuable.
absolutely.
For anyone who's working within a company.
Whether you're a designer, an engineer, a marketer, understanding how product decisions are made is crucial.
And how the stage of the company influences those decisions.
Absolutely.
It's all connected.
It is.
So we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we have.
Just in this first part of our deep dive.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
It is.
Okay, so we're talking about product managers.
Yeah.
And their role in creating successful products. Right.
But Cagan goes deeper than that.
Okay.
He actually challenges kind of this whole idea of the lone wolf genius.
Right, like the Steve Jobs myth.
Exactly, like one brilliant person coming up with
the magical idea.
Next big thing.
Yeah.
He's saying that's rarely how it actually works.
Yeah.
In reality, a great product is more like a symphony.
Okay.
Orchestrated by a skilled product manager.
I like that analogy.
Leading a talented team.
So it's not just about finding that one amazing product manager and then just letting them run wild.
It's about building a whole ecosystem around them.
Okay.
A high-performing product team.
So what does that look like?
Well, he talks about the importance of having diverse skills on the team.
Makes sense.
Like you need product designers who can create those intuitive user interfaces.
Right.
You need engineers, obviously.
To bring those designs to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you need product marketing managers.
To effectively communicate the value of the product.
Right, like to get the word out.
To the world.
Yeah, but wouldn't all those different perspectives?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that lead to clashes?
It definitely can.
Yeah.
If you're not careful.
So how do you prevent that?
How do you make sure everyone is on the same page?
Yeah.
Well, that's where leadership comes in.
Okay.
And a shared understanding of the product vision.
So you need someone to kind of guide the ship.
Exactly.
Keep everyone rowing in the same direction.
Cagan really emphasizes the importance of a strong product leader.
Yeah.
Someone who can inspire the team, facilitate collaboration, and make sure everyone is aligned around that common goal.
And he actually includes interviews with, like, top product leaders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from companies like Google and Adobe.
That's cool getting those insights from the trenches.
Yeah, so it's not just theory.
It's real-world experience.
Exactly.
So it's not just about individual brilliance, then.
Right.
It's about collective intelligence and a shared commitment to creating something amazing.
Okay, so we've got the team, the structure.
Yeah.
But what about the culture?
Oh, that's a whole other layer.
Right.
Yeah, Cagan talks about the importance of fostering a strong product culture within the entire company.
What does that even mean?
Like ping pong tables and free snacks.
Yeah, is that it?
It's a little bit deeper than that.
Okay.
It's about creating an environment where everyone understands and values the importance of being product-driven.
So it's not just the product team's responsibility.
Right, it's everyone's responsibility.
Okay.
From engineers to marketers to the executives.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be on board with this idea.
Of prioritizing the user.
Exactly.
Like,
and embracing things like experimentation, data-driven decision-making, and celebrating both successes and failures.
So it's about learning and growing.
Constantly iterating and improving.
Yeah, that sounds pretty idealistic.
It is a high bar.
Are there companies that actually live up to this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Give me some examples.
He talks about companies like Amazon and Apple, which are known for their customer obsession, their willingness to constantly innovate. They're not afraid to try new things.
And to fail.
And to learn from those failures.
Okay, so we've got the team, the structure, the culture.
Yeah.
But how do you actually define the product itself?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. Like, where do you even begin?
How do you come up with that product vision?
Yeah, and strategy.
And make sure it's actually something people want. This is where Cagan gets really interesting.
Okay, all ears.
He challenges this traditional notion of detailed product roadmaps.
Oh, those timelines that try to predict everything.
Months or even years in advance, which in the tech world can be a recipe for disaster.
Things change so quickly.
Exactly.
So what's the alternative?
Well, he advocates for a more flexible approach.
Yeah.
That starts with a clear product vision and strategy.
So it's not about laying out every single feature in minute detail.
It's about defining the why behind the product.
The purpose.
The bigger picture.
Okay, I'm starting to see the difference.
So what are the key elements of a strong product vision?
Yeah, what does that look like?
Well, according to Cagan, it should be inspiring.
Okay.
Aspirational.
Yeah.
And focused on solving real customer problems.
So it's not just a list of features.
What's a story?
It's a vision of the future
that
you're trying to create.
Can you give me an example?
Think about Tesla.
Okay.
Their vision isn't just to build electric cars.
Right.
It's to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy.
Oh, wow. That's a much bigger vision.
Right.
It's about impact, not just the product itself.
It's about making a difference.
Okay, I get it.
But a vision alone doesn't build a product.
Right.
So how do you translate that vision into a concrete strategy?
That's the next step. That's where the product strategy comes in.
Okay.
It outlines the key objectives and initiatives that will guide the product development efforts.
So it's about making choices.
Yes.
Prioritizing resources.
Exactly.
Setting clear goals.
And making sure those goals align with the overall vision.
And Cagan even talks about specific frameworks like OKRs.
Right. Objectives and key results.
Yeah.
A popular way to set and track goals.
Especially for product teams.
It helps to break down that big vision into smaller, more manageable steps.
So it's not just this pie-in-the-sky idea.
It's a roadmap.
A plan of action.
But of course, things get more complicated.
Oh, yeah.
As companies grow.
So how do you maintain that clarity of vision and strategic focus?
As the team expands and the product evolves.
That sounds like a real challenge.
It is one of the biggest challenges of scaling product development.
So does Cagan offer any guidance on that?
He does.
Okay, good, because I'm all ears.
All right, so we've talked about the team, the vision, the culture.
The big picture stuff?
Yeah. But now let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
How do you actually figure out what to build?
Right, because you could have all those things in place.
Yeah.
But if you're building the wrong product...
It's all for nothing.
It's a waste of time and money.
Exactly.
So Cagan calls this product discovery.
Okay.
And he really emphasizes that this is where the make-or-break decisions happen.
So how do you make sure you're on the right track?
Well, he outlines a few key principles.
Okay.
And one of the most important is this relentless focus on customer needs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you need to deeply understand what are their pain points?
Yeah.
What are their motivations?
What do they actually want?
Yeah, what are they trying to achieve?
Not just what they say they want, but what they actually need.
Exactly.
Right.
But it's easy to say, focus on the customer.
Right.
But how do you actually do that?
In a practical way?
Yeah, like, does it mean sending out surveys?
Well, surveys can be helpful.
Okay.
But Cagan advocates for a more hands-on approach.
Okay, so what does that look like?
He's a big fan of customer interviews. It's like actually sitting down and having conversations with users.
So it's about really listening?
Yeah.
And understanding their experiences?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say you've done your customer interviews.
Yeah.
You've got all these insights.
You've got a mountain of data.
Yeah. What do you do with it?
How do you turn those insights into an actual product?
That's where experimentation and iteration come in.
Okay.
Cagan is all about this build, measure, learn feedback loop.
So you're not just building something in a vacuum.
Right.
You're constantly testing and refining.
Yeah, so you create prototypes.
Okay.
Which don't have to be fancy.
Right.
They can be rough.
Minimum viable product.
Yeah, and you get those in front of users as quickly as possible.
To get feedback.
Yeah, and then you make adjustments.
And then you build again.
Based on that feedback.
It's a cycle.
Yeah, and this is not just a one-time thing.
Right.
This is an ongoing process.
It's embedded in the DNA of the product team.
They're constantly learning and adapting.
And sometimes the most valuable insights come from what Cagan calls customer misbehavior.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's when users use your product in ways that you never anticipated.
Oh, like they're hacking it.
Oh, yeah.
To do something it wasn't designed to do.
Exactly.
Okay.
It can be frustrating.
I bet.
But it's also an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, because it shows you how people are actually using the product.
Right.
Which might be different from how you intended it to be used.
And that can lead to new innovations.
Okay, so it's about being open to surprises.
Yeah.
And willing to adjust your assumptions.
Embrace the unexpected.
Exactly. And Cagan dives into all sorts of testing techniques.
Oh, yeah, he's big on testing.
Usability testing, value testing, feasibility testing.
It's all about gathering data, validating your assumptions.
Making informed decisions.
So it's about moving from a culture of guessing to a culture of knowing.
Data-driven decision-making.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Inspired.
Yeah, from building teams to defining a vision.
To really understanding your customers.
And embracing that process of discovery and iteration.
It's a book that really challenges you to think differently about how great products are made.
It's not just about the tech.
Right.
It's about the people.
Yeah.
And the problems you're trying to solve.
So if you're involved in building tech products at all, whether you're an entrepreneur, a product manager, a developer,
this book is a must-read.
It's full of practical advice and real-world examples.
And it's really inspiring.
Yeah, it gets you excited about building products that actually make a difference.
Before we wrap up,
yeah,
we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Think about some of your favorite tech products.
The ones you use every day.
Yeah, the ones you can't live without.
What makes them so great? What problems are they solving for you?
How do they make you feel?
Share your thoughts with us.
We're always eager to hear your perspectives.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, we'll be back soon with another exploration of a thought-provoking book or article.
Until then, keep diving deep.
Keep learning.
And keep creating amazing products.
See you next time.